Why doesn't your singing feel free? You're singing that song, but it always feels like you're pushing up against some wall, or maybe you feel a tightness in your throat. And worse yet, sometimes your voice cracks, it flips, and it does all these funny things. Let's talk about why this is happening, and I'll also share a strategy on how you can start to overcome this, so make sure to stay right to the end. Now, real quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ivan. I'm a voice teacher who works with students from all around the world, and really on this channel, my goal is to make learning how to sing as easy and as simple as possible, because it can be really confusing on this journey. And so if that is up your lane, consider subscribing wherever you're joining me from. If you want to improve your voice faster and with less headache as well, check out some of the links down in the description on how to work with me. And last but not least, if you want to inspire our next episode, drop into the comments down below what you would like for me to talk about next. Let's talk about why your singing actually feels restricted, why it feels not as free as you'd like. From experience, singing that feels restrictive stems from these two things. The first one is an engagement of the wrong muscles. A lot of you will hear this as tension in your singing. An obvious example of this is when the singer is singing and they're really kind of tensing. You can see all the veins and the muscles bulging out of their neck, and they sound strained as well. These are some of the obvious ones, but there are also some that are a bit less obvious as well. Things like, feeling a bit more tension in your tongue, feeling like your jaw is a bit tighter than you'd like it to be. Regardless, these are all signs that tension is there. Now, I am using the term wrong very sparingly because there is nothing wrong with clenching our jaw. It is a very useful muscle, in fact, when it comes to eating food. When you're eating food, you need to chew, you need to use those jaw muscles. But in the context of singing, it is wrong because it is not necessary. It doesn't really help in terms of making the sounds that you want. In fact, keeping them engaged is just going to make it a lot harder when it comes to singing. I mean, imagine just clenching your jaw for 3 to 4 minutes straight, right? This is basically what you're doing when you're singing a song. Now, the second thing is a bit less obvious for beginners, but I would argue that is even more important to focus on, is a lack of engagement of the right muscles. A lot of us would just think, if I just relax my throat, disengage some of those tensions that we've talked about earlier, then my singing will naturally come and I will just be able to sing freely, right? Maybe. For some of us, it is going to work, but for a lot of my students who have reached out after years of trying to just relax their throat, trying to disengage all their tension, sometimes we need a different strategy, which involves learning to engage and build the right muscles. Now, what are these right muscles that I am talking about? The first one here is going to be the muscle that stretches your vocal folds. Have you ever taken the time to consider how does our voice even change pitch? Like, what is the fundamental mechanism that allows us to go from to like, what is that mechanism? Because if you don't know what that feels like, then you're in big trouble, because every time you're going to those higher notes, you're basically guessing. But it doesn't have to be this way. As I said, the mechanism here is learning to stretch your vocal folds, because this allows them to get longer, they get thinner, and allows for faster vibrations, which is what creates higher pitches. The second muscle involved here is the muscles that bring the vocal folds together. Because if you just stretch the vocal folds and then you blow air against them, you're going to get no sound, or like a weak sound at the very best. So this is why we need to engage the muscles that bring the vocal folds together. Some of you know this as core closure, compression. Either way, these are the muscles that allow us to create more power. And so singing with freedom is going to be getting rid of a lot of those unnecessary tensions, but simultaneously learning to engage the right muscles. That's how we sing with more freedom through our range. All right, Ivan, so you've just blasted me with a whole bunch of information on why I can't sing with more freedom. What are you proposing? What is the solution that you're telling me? Now, to caveat, I'm not going to share with you a quick hack, a quick fix. This is a strategy, this is a process that you need to follow. And in fact, even for myself, this is something that I'm working through constantly. This is not something that happens overnight. And so here is the strategy. I want you to focus on learning to engage the right muscles first. The reason why I want you to do this, as opposed to trying to get rid of your tongue tension or your jaw tension, or your bicep tension, or wherever you might be feeling it, is because when you focus on developing the right muscles, those extrinsic tensions can dissipate. Because what I've noticed with my clients, a lot of the times we clench our jaw because we don't know what else to engage, or maybe we just feel like we have to grip on everything in order to make that sound. But if you knew that all I needed to do to go up higher is I keep the chords together and I stretch them a bit more, it allows you to focus on something entirely different. Now, this is a bit abstract, I know. I'm kind of talking about singing at a very, very high level, but I actually have covered these topics in more detail. If you check out episode 129, 131, 132, I talk about these concepts very, very much in detail. How do we stretch the vocal folds? How do we press them together? Those are the fundamental mechanisms you need to understand. Now, once you have understood them, you've got a good grasp on them, and you know how to stretch your vocal folds, you know how to keep them together, you know how to do them together, and you're still struggling, this is when you can come back and look at resolving some of those tensions, you know, the jaw tensions, the tongue tensions. You can do that after because you've got the bulk of the work done. But take your time with this. There is no rush. Singing is a lifelong journey. Anyway, I hope this episode was useful for you. If it was, please do all the usual social media stuff, like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on the podcast, leaving a 5-star can really help push this channel out to the algorithm and help this channel grow even more. This would really, really mean the world to me. And you know, if you've checked out these episodes and you want to get some more help with this, you want to improve your voice faster with less of the confusion, check out some of the links down in the description. Once again, I've got ways to work with me privately. Apart from that, my name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher, and I look forward to seeing you every single Thursday or Friday where these weekly tutorials are released. Take care.